Hello and welcome to another Them's Frame video. In this one, I want to share my journey with third-party lenses and how I went from being rather snobbish and against them to being extremely bullish and in support of them. Let's get into it. Now, I shoot with Fujifilm cameras, and right now there are plenty of options from third-party lens manufacturers. There's Viltrox, Miyake, TTAritzans, and others that you can purchase at a relatively low cost and that will work perfectly well with your Fujifilm camera. Now, this isn't just unique to Fujifilm. They also make lenses for Nikon cameras and Sony cameras as well. If you look around, you'll easily find them. Now, in the past, I was completely on brand only, which means I would only pair a Fujifilm lens with my Fujifilm camera. I felt uncomfortable with just off-branding. It didn't feel right to me. I trusted Fujifilm. I've had this 35mm f2 by Fujifilm for almost a decade. It works perfectly. It's built well. It's got some wear and tear, but that's on me. I just had complete trust in Fuji as a manufacturer to build quality glass for my camera. So why such mistrust of third-party lenses? Well, I think there's some fair reasoning and some unfair reasoning. The unfair reasoning is when we think of cheap, we automatically think low quality. When we think of places like Amazon and you go and get things from Chinese manufacturers, you kind of expect to pay very little for an item that's not going to last you very long. But the reality is, just because something is from China or manufactured in China doesn't mean it's poor quality. In fact, Fujifilm manufactures most of its camera and lenses in China now after once being in Japan. I know some are manufactured in Japan still, but a majority of what Fujifilm produces is manufactured in China, and it's still at a very good quality. There's no reason to think it's automatically going to be bad. Now, some of the fair ones were quality control. In the past, some of these new manufacturers or manufacturers that were making budget lenses, I'd see on Reddit about poor quality, poor image quality, softness, the build quality not being up to standard. There is arguments to say that there were issues there, but things are changing and at quite a rapid pace. And last year, I decided to take a little bit of a risk and I invested in a Viltrox lens. I got the Viltrox 23mm f1.4. I actually picked this up on MPB, so I got this for around about $200 used in excellent like new condition. Now, I did do a review of the lens, so I'm not going to do a review of this one right now. If you want to watch that, I'll link it up at the top and you can go see for yourself my more extended thoughts about it. But what I will say is that it completely changed how I saw third-party lenses. The build quality was great. The image quality was superb. The contrast, color reproduction, all of it, the way that it played with my X-T3 just felt perfect, and it completely changed my opinion of these lenses. Now, of course, at a much lower cost, you are missing out on a few things. For example, there's no weather sealing on many of these budget Chinese lenses, and they miss nice to have features like clicking apertures. This is a clickless aperture, and you may see things like vignetting when you are wide open at f1.4. In fact, you absolutely do see things like vignetting. Now, some users do complain of chromatic aberration on cheap budget lenses, and there is evidence out there to suggest that is the case. From my experience, it seems to be kind of potluck whether your lens will do that. Mine doesn't, but I've seen other people with the same lens that have shown evidence of chromatic aberration. But the reality is you can fix this in post and it's quite easy to get rid of. So is it really worth paying an extra $300, $400, $500 just to not have something that you can get rid of in a single click when you're editing your image? Personally, I don't think so. So if we look at the cost, now I can't compare these two side by side because they're different focal lengths, but the equivalent of this from Fujifilm, the 23mm f1.4, costs around about $900 USD. As I say, you can pick this up used for around about $200. Brand new is $230. So you may as well just buy it brand new as well. And I think what we have to do is we have to change the word cheap to affordable, because we just have negative stigma when we think of cheap. And I've had this lens for almost a year now, and it's still in great condition. The paint is still holding up. It works fine. Autofocus is great. I do street and travel photography, and very rarely do I see this miss autofocus, and no more so than the Fujifilm lens that I use. So if we start thinking about it from a different angle, it's affordable. They maybe not putting as much money into marketing. They don't have as much brand trust. A lot of the pricing that we see from brands today, like the Fujifilms, the Nikons, the Leicas, they know they can pump up the price a little bit more because we trust them as brands, and we are willing to pay more because we want to receive something that we believe will serve us well. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean these lenses are just as good or better than their first-party rivals, but the difference to me is becoming so much more insignificant that you may as well save money, which you can place either into more gear or more areas of life if you want, go on a trip, make some photos somewhere new, and really enjoy the user experience. In fact, now I'm more inclined to purchase a third-party lens than I am first-party, because I know I'm still going to get what I need from that lens and still have money left over in my bank account. Now, of course, there may be some downsides as well. On-brand lenses or higher-brand lenses, such as Fujifilm and Leica, they can hold market value. So if you do decide to sell them, you can pretty much get roughly what you paid for them, a little bit less, especially with Leica, for example, and that can help go towards new gear if that's what you're using for. For these lenses, they're not going to hold their resale value. You're probably going to take quite a hit, but they're so cheap that does that really matter? Again, that you can reinvest in a new one. Say you sell this, I sold this for half the price. I just pay a little bit more and I've got a brand new one. And they're also making premium lenses as well. Some of these third-party lenses do cost between $500 to $700, and they're more premium offerings. And they're excellent as well. And it's the difference between paying thousands of dollars and $500. And all we're really having to get over is a mindset, that mindset of wanting on-branding, of wanting what we're told to be premium, what we're told to be the best, what we're told that we need rather than want. So if you're how I used to be and against third-party lenses, honestly, I recommend you give them a go. If you don't want to pay the money and buy one, you can rent lenses pretty easily now for less of the amount it would cost to buy one. Give it a go, or go into a store. Sales reps are more than happy to let you try these lenses, feel them in the hand, even put your own SD card in a camera and take some shots so you can go home and review them. At the end of the day, their end goal is for you to purchase that. So anything that's going to help that happen, they're going to be more than happy to do. So you can try them for yourself and see if they work for you. But honestly, I don't think you'll regret it. I think these lenses are getting better and better. The image quality is fine, and there's a lot of perks, as I've outlined, to doing them. But I'd actually love to know your thoughts. What do you think about third-party lenses? Have you had bad experiences, good experiences? Which brands do you favor, and which ones do you recommend staying away from? Please do let me know down in the comments, and let's get a conversation going. And if you like this video, please do hit like. It lets YouTube know that people like it, so it gives it to more people on YouTube and more people watch it, and I feel happier about myself. So if you could do that, that'd be great. And also do subscribe and tap that bell icon so YouTube notifies you when I next publish. There's a short one from me. I'm Dan. This is Zen Frames. See ya.